Hello guys, it's me Simo Urahara, and in this video we will talk about Kazui and what powers he possesses, so that we will talk about his Shinigami powers and as well as the power of the Fullbring and with which power he appeared in the last one shot. Because Kazui's main problem is that we don't know for sure what is the nature of his power, given that we don't have many scenes of him. For example, if we want to talk about Kazui's power as a Shinigami, we will start from what we saw in chapter 686. That chapter was the first appearance of Kazui, in which we learned that he is Ichigo's son. The weird thing here about that chapter is that Kazui was in the place of Hiyori and the Vizard, and after a certain time we saw him at his house. I don't know what the distance between Hiyori's place and Ichigo's house, nor the time it took Kazui to reach the house, but from the context of the events, it seems that Kazui used a certain power to move, and that's another subject. On the other hand, the important scene that relates to our topic is Kazui's meeting with Ichika. The first thing that we can talk about is that he was able to see Ichika, and this is one of the main things that confirms that Ichigo's son has a spiritual power that enables him to see souls, including Shinigamis. Moreover, and this is the most important thing, when Ichika replied that she is a Shinigami and added, "Who are you?" Kazui said, "I'm Kazui Kurosaki and I am a Shinigami too." So, in the blink of an eye, Kazui appeared with the well-known Shinigami Shihakusho, as well as his Zanpakuto behind his back tied to a belt on his chest, and the Zanpakuto's handle is similar to Ichigo's in Bankai mode. Of course, according to my point of view, that form is a Shinigami form, because he personally confirmed this matter. Kazui will not say that I'm a Shinigami unless he knows that he is a Shinigami for sure, especially with the appearance of the Zanpakuto behind his back. However, there are still two mysterious points about this form, which are, where is Kazui's physical body, the Kishi body? Because as we know throughout the story, Ichigo always had to leave his physical body in order to appear in his Shinigami form. But here Kazui directly transformed into this form. The second point is the Zanpakuto. How did Kazui obtain his Zanpakuto in the first place? Because we learned with Nimaya that all the Zanpakuto need an Asauchi. So how did Kazui get an Asauchi? Did Ichigo bring him an Asauchi from Serichi? I don't think so. Was Urahara Kisuke the one who gave him an Asauchi? It could be possible, but I see it as a weak possibility. And so what about this possibility, guys? What if Kazui got the Asauchi the same way Ichigo got his first Asauchi? White, the Hollow, played the role of Ichigo's Asauchi, so that White was the power of the Hollow that mixed with the Shinigami power of Ichigo and formed his first Zanpakuto. Thus, the same thing may have happened to Kazui. For example, Kazui inherited his father's Shinigami power mixed with Hollow, which also played the same role as it did with his father. The Hollow mixed with the Shinigami powers, and so he got an Asauchi, and after that a Zanpakuto. And that's why Kazui at this stage may not need an Asauchi from Nimaya, I mean a real Asauchi. But overall, Kazui's Zanpakuto in his appearance, which we saw in chapter 686, remains a mysterious matter that needs some clarification. Of course, the mystery doesn't stop here. In the last one shot we saw this form of Kazui. Previously, I thought that the form in which Kazui appeared was a Shinigami and not a Fullbring one, because I had the belief that the straw sandals was specific to the Shinigami only, and it is an integral part of the shape of the Shinigami as a whole. However, when I went back to the Fullbring power of Ichigo that appeared for the first time, I saw that when Ichigo transformed into the Fullbring form, he was wearing the power of the Fullbring, and it appeared like a Shihakusho outfit with a belt on his waist, and also the straw sandals. Also, when Chad looked at Ichigo and saw Ichigo's appearance for the first time, he said something important. He said the true form of Ichigo's power is wearing his powers. And this is what appears even in the Shinigami form of Ichigo. Ichigo has a Shihakusho outfit on his body, even though he never got one, because as you know, the Shihakusho is given by Shinjimaru, the one who saw it, and not as we used to think. Therefore, in the light of what I have just said, It seems that Kazui is like his father. His powers, whether Shinigami or Fullbring, are embodied on his body. So it is possible to say that the form of Kazui in these scenes is a Fullbring form, and this may explain why he doesn't carry his Zanpakuto with him. However, there is a slight problem with this form. We know that the Fullbring powers can materialize on your physical body, and this is what happened to Ichigo when he activated his Fullbring power. So, is it possible that Kazui was hanging out with souls in his physical body at that time of night? I think it would be a little bit weird. Imagine that you're walking on the road at night and you find a child alone in a strange form and speaking on his own. How will it look to you? Weird, right? Therefore, I can say that from a technical point of view, it looks like Kazui in his Fullbring power. Also, what increases that is the point of the two fish. We know that one of the reasons for the Fullbring power to activate is the person's attachment to something or his passing through a painful experience that makes his power activated. And if we go back to the first pages of the one-shot and take into account that this monologue is to Kazui, we will find that he said he used to have two fish and he loved them, but one of them died, and this made him feel lonely. Therefore, his love for the two fish as well as the feeling of pain of loneliness are all things capable of activating his Fullbring powers. He may have activated his Fullbring power whether by wearing his power like his father as well as the two fish. But here an important question arises: what is the source of Kazui's Fullbring power? Because as we know, all the Fullbrings who appeared in the story, their Fullbring power was formed due to the presence of some parts of the King of Souls inside their bodies when they were in their mother womb. The only cases that didn't have the source of their strength from parts of the Soul King are Inoue and Chad. And as Urahara Kisuke explained in the novel, the way the Hogyoku and the Soul King's parts work is the same, to fulfill the desires of those in their surroundings. Because as we said, the Fullbring power activates when a person relates to something, and this is almost the same mechanism as the Hogyoku. So, what is the source of Kazui's Fullbring power? In fact, we don't know whether the Fullbring power is inherited or not. I mean, is it like the power of the Shinigami or the Quincy? Because even Aura, the only example we have, who is the daughter of a Fullbring, she was originally carrying the Sakitsu of the Soul King when she was in her mother's womb, meaning she didn't inherit the Fullbring power from her father. Therefore, I don't know exactly whether Kazui really inherited the Fullbring power from his father or he obtained it in another way. The possibility of the Hogyoku doesn't exist. And therefore, the only possible that exists, in my opinion, is that Kazui has a part of the Soul King inside him, which may explain why he got his Fullbring power. Is it possible that Kazui has some part of Ryu inside him? I don't know. What do you think, guys? Tell me in the comments and see you in my next video.